Hey, well, I'm angry tonight because I've lost my faith in the system, and I'm going to give you a thought experiment to explain to you why. Imagine that you're in some other country and there are two candidates running for office. One candidate draws huge crowds, the other candidate small crowds. Yet the media in this country claims that the candidate drawing small crowds is more popular than the other candidate, and on election night, the candidate drawing smaller crowds wins resoundingly over the candidate who draws large crowds. What would your opinion be of this country? What would your opinion be of that quote-unquote democracy? Well, that is my impression of the situation we're facing here in America. I don't really have a partisan position. I do prefer one candidate over the other, but I can't help but notice that Donald Trump seems to be drawing enormous crowds and Joe Biden very sparse and scanty ones. It's almost embarrassing between the enthusiasm that drives one candidate's crowds to the lack of enthusiasm in the other candidate's crowds. But yet we are told in this country that the candidate who seems to have far fewer supporters is going to win. And tonight is the night. Tonight is November the 3rd, 2020 here in the US. We have an election. Donald Trump, the incumbent, against Joe Biden, the challenger. And what's so sad about this election is we really are just deciding about one candidate. People are either voting for Donald Trump or against Donald Trump. I don't know if anybody's actually voting against Joe Biden, but I think the vast majority of people who are voting for Joe Biden are actually just voting against Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a candidate who really has been quite divisive in this country, and I don't really blame him for it. I blame the opposition. One would expect the opposition to be critical and not very helpful, but in this case, it has gone far beyond the pale. This particular opposition started spying on Donald Trump long before he was president. Once he became president, they continued the farce that he was actually a puppet of a foreign government, despite no evidence to that effect, and they actually claimed that they had evidence to that effect. None has been forthcoming, very similar to the weapons of mass destruction claim and all the other claims that we've been told there is good evidence for that evidence never surfaces for. And yet you have Donald Trump, a guy clearly an outsider, which is why everybody hates him. Everybody who is part of the system hates Donald Trump, and that is the political class, the media class, and the vast number of liberals on both coasts who have great guilt about the quality of their lives and wish to make it right for those who they feel that they've left behind. And tonight, on November the 3rd, 2020, we are deciding between these two candidates, or rather we are deciding between Donald Trump and not Donald Trump. And my prediction is that Donald Trump is going to win in a landslide. I don't care what the polls say. I don't think the polls have any validity in fact at all. I believe that the vast majority of Trump supporters wouldn't say anything to any poll taker, whether they thought that they were pro-Trump or anti-Trump, because they distrust the system. They don't wish to be part of the system. They are prepared to vote, and I think they are going to vote because of the great divide that exists today. I think that's driving people to vote. This is one of the reasons I think Trump will win. The other reason that I think Trump is going to win is because I think Joe Biden made a grievous error at the last debate. Trump taunted him into saying that he was going to be moving away from fossil fuels, and that is Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is a key state. I think Donald Trump takes Pennsylvania. I think Donald Trump wins so big tonight that nobody's going to be waiting for the mail-in ballot, and it's going to be violence and rioting in the streets when people realize that it's 4 more years of Trump. The liberals have been enraged by Trump ever since he announced that he was going to run for president. They couldn't conceive of his audacity to even conceive of the fact that he could imagine himself president, and yet he became president. Not only did he become president, he's had an enormous influence on the Supreme Court. He has united the grassroots of America, who are now turning their back on the ruling class, the political class, and uniting behind Donald Trump. Who would have figured that he would be seen as a savior for the common man? Donald Trump, the vulgar, garish New York tycoon who has been causing disruption in every sphere that he enters since the 80s, Donald Trump represents now the common man. It's a tremendous irony that a guy who was born with a silver spoon in his mouth, a guy who's been rich from birth, a New York property developer, is now seen as a common man by common men. This is his strength. He is against the elite, and they hate him for it. Tonight is their last chance to stop him. He has 4 more years of rule if he wins tonight. It's going to be very difficult for them to continue to surface new scandals to distract him. This next 4 years, if he does win, as I expect he will, is going to be his opportunity to exact retribution against those who have stymied his every move for his first term. Donald Trump, I think, is the popular candidate. Donald Trump, I think, is the winner tonight. I know I sound partisan, but I wanted to be on the record that this is my prediction. Donald Trump in a landslide, and even though the consequences may be dramatic, this is still the best path forward for the country. We'll see what happens. Good luck to us all. Please, let's all pay attention, keep learning, and wake up.